This building, housing a health clinic, has probably not staged an inquest of this magnitude before. There's intense media interest, especially in the questions Gareth Williams' family wants answered. Their barrister, Anthony O'Toole, in his opening remarks said the family wants information relevant to Gareth's death to be made public, especially if it helps other cases in future. All the family were present at the inquest today, and sister Ceri Subbe, wearing yellow here, had a prepared statement describing her brother's character read out on her behalf. She described him as a fond brother and a dear friend. She said he was humble and incredibly funny. They enjoyed a close relationship. He enjoyed sports, especially cycling, mountaineering and fell running, but it was time trialling and racing that he was well known for. Ceri also said her brother initially enjoyed living in London, then became unhappy and complained of friction at MI6. He was professional and conscientious in his work, she said, but wanted to return to Cheltenham and the government centre, GCHQ. He was supposed to return on September the 1st, 2010, barely a week after his body was found.
Yolo, what about these comments that Gareth Williams was unhappy about working in London? That's what his sister claims.
Yes, they were quite revealing, weren't they? And these comments were made on her behalf. And when she talked about, when this statement on her behalf said that initially he'd enjoyed living in London, he was seconded to MI6, the Secret Intelligence Services, enjoyed that, but gradually he didn't like the feeling of a rat race, he didn't like living here, he missed the countryside, he would go home more often, and there was this other meeting that he was supposed to have on the 16th of August, which is a week before he was found, when there was a meeting that he'd missed, and that was out of character because he was usually very conscientious.
What else did his sister say?
Well, she was talking about him as a family member, that they were very close, they had a close relationship, the family itself was close, which is why probably the grief over the last 20 months really has been immense for the family. So it was her chance today to talk about that he was a humble character, he was a very funny sense of humour, and of course he had all his interest in sports, which seemed to take a lot of his time.
Yolo, a video has been at the centre of today's hearing. What's that all about?
There was about 2 hours this morning when there was a lot of deliberation about the certain types of footage which may or may not be seen in public. But there is a mock-up video filmed for the benefit of the coroner, Dr. Fiona Wilcox, in the court behind me, to see whether it's possible, whether it's feasible for somebody to put himself into a bag. Now, that video the family did not want to be seen outside the inquest, but the feeling by the coroner and by the media and the broadcasters is it should be seen because it is central to one of the cases, one of the concerns in this inquest, whether indeed it's possible for that to happen and whether indeed Gareth Williams could have done that.
This must have been such a difficult day for Gareth Williams' family.
They sat in the room all day, they listened to everything impassively, and they listened carefully, and there was some of the evidence which was quite difficult for them to hear, especially from PC Jonathan Gallagher, because Jonathan Gallagher was the policeman who came into the flat, into Gareth Williams' flat at 5:30 on the 23rd of August in 2010, and then he made that gruesome discovery in the bathroom. He described everything as he went through it, questioned by the coroner. That must have been quite difficult for this very private family with their grief, which is suddenly, it's again hugely public right across Britain.